Good evening, everyone. Welcome to Live Culture on PhillyCam. Live Culture is a monthly First Friday series showcasing cultural and performing artworks. This show will be broadcast live with a studio audience and can be viewed on PhillyCam on their television and web channel. Tonight's show is dedicated to exploring different cultural perspectives on the theme of home and the experience of homelessness. Using various mediums from local artists, some with lived experience of homelessness, we will have the opportunity to observe and reflect on diverse and unique outlooks on this subject. First off, we will start with a short talk and slideshow with Harvey Finkle, who has been documenting social and political movements in history in Philadelphia for decades. We are lucky to have him with us.
I photographed in the 80s and 90s, mostly with two organizations, which sort of had different missions. One was called Project Home, and the other was the Kensington Welfare Rights Union. And Project Home, and even though their functions overlapped, basically Project Home was a service-oriented, provided housing, homes and rooms to live in for homeless people who had been homeless. And they sort of used the system to expand their large collection of institutions. And the theme is nobody's home until all of us are home. And the other group, was Kensington Welfare Rights, which was really looked at a radical way of dealing with the issue of homelessness. And what their intention was, their theme was the only people who can resolve homelessness are poor people. And their mission was to organize poor people. And their actions were different. They broke into houses that were vacant. They set up a tent city in the mid-90s around 4th and Lehigh. And they came and they built tents with spare wood, spare cloth, and they housed, I guess, close to several hundred homeless, mostly women and children at that time. It seemed that the population of homelessness, and it seemed to me it shifted from mostly men to mostly women and children at the time. And they, what happened there is people, when they set up their tent city, people began to bring them food and clothing, to the point where they had so much food and clothing that they became a distribution center for the poor people who lived in that area around 5th and Lehigh. And they both were run by very charismatic people. I mean, one, Sister Mary Scullion and Joan McConnon, and on the other hand was Sherry Honkala. Both very charismatic and very different in the way they dealt with things, but very profoundly committed to deal with the issue of homelessness. I want to go back to '91. There was Desert Storm, and I remember what came out of Desert Storm is there were all these civilian casualties. They were called unintended consequences, and I really felt that was pure BS. Unintended consequences was poor people who were raped, slaughtered, tortured, and it's the consequence of war. It's not unintended. That goes with the war. So my feeling was the unintended consequence, the people who suffered from that, were the people in the streets of Philadelphia who were homeless. So I began to go out and for 2 months, I went on a rampage just photographing people living on the street. And it was, I think it was the winter time. There was a lot of steam coming out of the vents and so forth. And so it leads me to the conclusion that there's no way we're going to conquer homelessness as long as we're spending $700 billion a year on stuff to kill people. And that's what we spend each year. So as long as we're sticking all that money into that thing, to me, homelessness, that's the stuff that could resolve homelessness and a lot of other issues. So I read Roseanne's, Larry sent me Roseanne's poetry, and wanted to know if I was interested in collaborating, providing some photographs for it. And when I read them, what I liked about that, she understood the whole template of where homeless people lived in the city, and she knew intimate details about where they were living and so forth. The other thing is, I thought she was annoyed by the lack of attention that was paid to them. People just walked the street. Indifference is the word I'm looking for. That there was an indifference to people walking on the street in their response to the homeless situation. And the third, I thought she had a bite. She had an anger in her poetry that I liked. So it was, I liked the collaboration, you know. So I thank you very much for having me here.
Thank you, Harvey. Next up, we have Krisann Janowitz, a recent graduate from St. Joseph's University who collaborated with Harvey in the publication of the book Homeless. She will be sharing a selection of that work with you tonight. Please welcome her.
Thank you. And I am also very grateful for our collaboration as well, Harvey and Larry. And so this collection is called Homeless, less in parentheses, and it is a sampling of poems on home and homelessness, and it started with my thesis at my master's program, and now it's turned to this amazing little chapbook, and I'm just so honored. So the first poem is called There Is a Problem. There is a problem in America found in every city, some more than others. Philly rounds out top 10 list with 6,112 residents without homes. And New York tops it with 73,523. There is a problem in America. It starts with me and you and ends with women and children and men pushed out onto the streets in rising popularity. Where do you think they should go now that they can't afford their home? Your lack of an answer is why families are turning to tents. Under 95 in the woods at FDR Skate Park, they turn to their city's framework, bypass trees and concrete bowls, to keep them safe from elements like rain, wind, and people with homes who threaten assault. During hot summers, cold winters, and hurricane season, while we settle into our cozy duplex sunrooms, not all survive through the heat, snow, and hailstorms. So next time you grab your green line latte, take a moment and think about those who have been shooed out of their temporary homes in warehouses, park benches, and subway tunnels, so society can continue pretending and you can have your drink. Thank you. This next poem is called In Philadelphia, I Pass My City's Homeless, Hiding in Dark Corners of Suburban Station, and Close Their Eyes. I see one man with hair like salt sprinkled onto pepper, his lips and elbows beg for lotion, his skin drapes over bones that cry in unison. A smile forms across his face. He holds a torn burgundy blanket in rough hands and prays with no rosary beads, pulling the blanket to the right after each Hail Mary. Tears begin to fall down his left cheek, and his prayers grow louder, and I remember the last time a homeless man startled me. I was speed walking from the train to Fergie's pub, and a large man sitting at the bottom of the staircase yelled, "You got a cigarette?" After I realized what he said, I apologized. "No, sorry. I wish I did." And I do, because even though you frighten my tiny female body, I want to be able to help you, to give you what you want in America. America, the land of opportunity to turn away and save oneself from sure discomfort. We are certain as the setting sun that looking elsewhere is better than seeing yourself in a mirror, not knowing where your next meal will come from. And I start to feel sick, thinking about all who call Suburban Station home, with its desert-colored walls, a fading tan with tiny holes where time has chipped the cement away. Away is where I want to go and hope you didn't see me. Thank you. So this is my villanelle. It's called Not the Life I Imagined. This is not the life I imagined I'd live, forced to beg at my corner on the street. Even now, I find it hard to forgive. I have nothing for you, nothing to give. I don't even know the next time I'll eat. This is not the life I imagined I'd live. The memories get harder to relive. I was once a son and a star athlete. Even now, I find it hard to forgive. I know I've gone too far, been too combative, and I'll cheat my comrades just to compete. This is not the life I imagined I'd live. This ain't life, and that's just how it is. I take and still feel incomplete. Even now, I find it hard to forgive. The pain I feel, those I'm forced to outlive, I wish to tell them I'm sorry in my defeat. This is not the life I imagined I'd live. Even now, I find it hard to forgive myself. Thank you. So my last one here is called My Job is Watching Feet. Every day they walk right by. Every day I try and try. My job is watching feet. I smile, I wave, I ask nothing. My job is watching feet. Leather boots, hot pink high heels, Timberlands and high-top Reeboks. My job is watching feet. Please spare some change, I say, and rattle my cup full of discarded pennies. A smile sometimes is what I'm given. Mostly, my job is watching feet. Yesterday, I found a dog, gray and wire-haired, lost, searching for food. I told him, "You will be mine," and eventually he came around. We walked and we talked and we dove in dumpsters for food, and when it was time to go to work, he came along for the ride. My job, watching feet. And to my surprise, I began seeing their eyes as they leaned down to pet old Scrappy. This made me very happy. For when they reached and asked how old, I don't know is what I said. But I would quickly add, spare some change, and sometimes they'd give. In some sense, it's harder knowing that they only give for old Scrappy. But at least we get a bit each day, and eventually we can retire happy from our job of watching feet. Thank you. Okay. We'll do one more here. This is called City of Brotherly Love. That is where we are, right? So it's a little bit of a spin here, though. Thick, tall slabs of cement hide the home of a man who owns nothing but the clothes on his back and a soft blue blanket. It's winter downtown and people walk on. No one pays attention to anything that far below them, unless it's their cell phone. Enter the rat. It saunters down the sidewalk close to the edge of the gray buildings that have grown darker with time's passage. Enter the feet of 5 men racing out of the bar into their Uber. The rat scatters, the man wakes, and everyone goes without knowing. Thank you.
Great, thank you, Krisann. So next up, we're all familiar with the yellow vests worn by the One Step Away vendors, some of whom contribute some of their work to the papers that they sell. So tonight, we're thankful to have Joseph and Rand join us to share some of their work. Please welcome them.
Good evening and thank you. First, I'd like to thank Philly Can for having this event, and I'd like to thank Moonstone Poetry for the invite. I don't see Joseph, so I will be the only one representing tonight for One Step Away. So I will start off by sharing a poem titled Vibrate Higher. Lift off, Time to fly. Spread my wings, go higher, beyond the sky. Time to fly. The struggle prepared me. The hardships created obstacles that I overcame, building character. Spiritual warrior, the conqueror. I had to develop beyond my physical body to break the invisible chains of slavery, mentally and emotionally. I've done so by maturing into my spirit body, elevated being, higher consciousness channeling through my vessel, supreme vibrations, divine forces giving birth to universal thought, cosmic mind transcending space and time, destroying illusions, childhood dreams shattered by truth. We were fed lies as youth, curses placed upon us, sink or swim. Yes, the water is deep, matter of fact, it's infinite. The only way to tap in is to go within. Know thyself, heal thyself, activate thyself, learn how to fly, spread your wings, fly high, beyond the sky, vibrate higher. Thank you. So I actually wrote that my first night at the Station House, which is a shelter, last year, August 8th. And I published it last year, September. So I'm a poet, actor, speaker, and active in the community for about 15 years. I've been vending the One Step Away paper for almost 6, and I've been writing in the paper for almost 4 years. And from being out there in that environment before I started writing, I just really felt like when I submitted my work that it was going to be about inspiration, encouragement, and lifting people up, because there's so many people dealing with so much in this world today. So for the most part, when it comes to me submitting my work to the paper, it's about those principles right there: encouragement, inspiration, and lifting people up. So this next piece is titled Channel 4. While playing the game, I write the fame. Forever apply mysterious evidence. I am evident of a living miracle present. The Almighty moves, the Most High moves, God moves, Goddess moves. Nature is infinite spirit. We need a healing collectively, the masses. Every living being requires healing right now. Too much tension is in the air, too much hate existing, too many falsehoods living. With and through discernment, we rise. The examination of our own fears, issues, problems addresses the matter at hand. After we see the brokenness, we organically allow and surrender to the presence of the Almighty nature, nature's divinity, speaking to and through our vessels the nourishment necessary for us to thrive in our higher nature as a human culture, as a human culture of divine law. So to me, I'm homeless from birth. My mother and father didn't raise me. So I didn't receive the natural requirements for a child. I didn't receive the love. I didn't receive care and support that is necessary for a child to grow up healthy. So I was already homeless. And, you know, I was in DHS for like 8 years of my life. I mean, my story is just very tragic, but we all have stories. So it's not about me saying my story is better, but I've overcame so much just to be standing here right now. I'm not supposed to be standing here right now. So, you know, again, I was homeless for like 3 stints ever since I've been vending the paper. And my last stint was at our brother's place. So it's just weird how being in that space was liberating in the sense of not having to worry about saying certain things. At the same time, it's still depressing. At the same time, you have to want to do for yourself. If you're not willing, what I've learned, this is me, if you're not willing to be responsible for your own self and hold yourself accountable, no matter what, yeah, I've been through so much. At the same time, I had to learn how to forgive and just walk in faith and be a living example of what these words are instead of just talking like most people do. So I'll share one more piece, Recently, there's been a couple times where I haven't submitted work to the papers, and it's not because I don't have any poetry, it's just dealing with things. So I've created these little cards, and like a couple weeks ago, and I've been giving them to my readers. Like, I've built up a fan base, or a lot of supporters who really love and appreciate my poetry. So this is something I created. It's titled Unifying Spirit. By honoring your peace of mind over everything, you create an atmosphere of joy in your life. Healing addresses the root of all dis-ease. Embrace your animal nature by basking in the glory of supreme light. The heightened levels of discernment, clarity, and awareness you live in based on this practice is nirvana, creating a radiant glow, emanating from your aura, illuminated prana, giving hope to the hopeless, activating those who were once asleep, giving sight to the blind, third eye on fleek. To inspire, uplift, and empower others takes unconditional love, courage, and selflessness, acts of liberation. Unifying in spirit as a people, culture, and community is the only key to our salvation. A truth seeker's revelation. Unifying spirit. Thank you.
Thank you, Ram. So the next time you spot a vendor from one step away, stop by and talk to them, because they may just be a secretly amazing poet. Next up, we have a Philly Cam member, Karen Walker, who took to the streets last winter to capture the story of a woman that she passed every day. This is part of an ongoing series she's developing. So please welcome Karen.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you for having me. To set up my documentary, I started, wow, I'm getting a little emotional, forgive me. I began speaking with a young lady commuting to work every day. Her name is Mandy, and we developed a rapport with each other. It was important for me to understand the reasoning behind all the barriers that you face as a homeless person. I couldn't fully understand because I never lived it. My compassion, just as well as yours, is really about the welfare of everyone, us all. There are approximately 6,000 people just within the city of Philadelphia, the county, that are suffering from homelessness. 300 are children. That bothers me, okay? I just didn't grow up that way. This wasn't my lifestyle. It became a concern. I needed to be a part of the revolution, and I decided to produce and direct this film, The Voice of Reason, the Cover Me Initiative, which is one of 4 segments. And I'm very proud of it, not to receive accolades because that's just not the person that I am, but again, to be a part of the revolution. We need to take action. This is very, very serious. That's it. Thank you.
My world was cruel, so I robbed and stole to eat. Ignored parental voices and made poor choices that landed me in the street. Once I was there, I had to hide my fear and never admit defeat. Man-child running wild, still a little boy at heart. In order to succeed, a cold heart I would need, and eventually I learned my part. Now to play this role, I had to sell my soul and embrace a new way of life. No more school books or teachers' looks. I was now about the gun and the knife. Bets were made about how I'd be slayed. No one believed I would make it. Life was rough and I acted tough, but truth be told, I faked it. I grew to believe all I could achieve was survival at the best. I could not conceive, did not believe there was a purpose for my test. Abandoned houses and alleyways, roaming the streets of the hood. What the enemy meant for my destruction, God now uses for good.
Okay. Hello, my dear. Hi. How you doing?
Good.
Good to see you again.
Good to see you also.
Yeah. So you got coffee?
Yes.
I try
Extra
to be
cream,
as hot.
extra sugar.
Extra cream, extra sugar. No chaser.
No chasers.
Okay. Now tell me about the public perspective in terms of no chaser.
Yeah, public's perspective on no chaser.
Right.
Okay. My public's perspective out here of me. Well, not all, but
Okay.
some.
Okay.
They look at me sometimes like, oh, she's just another homeless addict.
Right.
You know, like, but I'm not.
Right.
You know.
Yeah.
Most people out here though can tell that I don't use drugs.
Right.
You know.
Yeah.
Most of the people, you know, they'll walk by and they'll be like, oh, well, I'm not helping her. She's just another addict.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, I mean, I try to talk to, but I would like people to stop. You know what I mean? If people would stop and just take the genuine time to, like, actually care.
Right. And
You know what I
ask.
mean? And ask.
Yeah,
I would
rather
be
than
able to
assume.
Just tell them.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because if you assume, you make an ass out of you and me.
Sure.
And that's not cool. You know, like, I'm not an addict.
Okay. How did tell me about your lifestyle. How did this all begin?
This all began when I lost my job.
Okay.
You know, I started staying with a friend of mine, and well, first my unemployment ran out.
Okay.
Lost my job,
Right,
lost
right.
my car, lost everything, and then I started staying with a friend of mine, and you know, he started beating on me.
Okay.
So I had to leave that whole situation.
Right.
And that's what landed me out here.
Okay.
I didn't know what to do.
Sure.
I really didn't. A suitcase got stolen when I first got out here, so I lost all my identification. It cost money to get all that back. You know, it's a whole rat race to get that thing back.
Okay.
Yeah, I just landed here.
Okay.
I didn't know what else to do, so I seen somebody else doing this. I said, oh, let me try that.
Right.
So it got me here.
Okay. My other question would be, with it being so difficult for you to survive on a daily basis, what keeps you strong? I know that you're
God.
right. Okay. So that he helps you
faith.
endure your faith.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely. My faith in God keeps me strong every day.
So now tell me about your background again in terms of your family, if you're willing to share.
Absolutely.
Your upbringing.
I was raised in a good house. I have good mom and dad. Yeah, you guys, you're fine. I had good mom and dad.
Right.
I had 2 sisters and a brother.
Okay.
I grew up in Moonstone, New Jersey.
Okay.
I had a good life.
Right.
Did everything I was supposed to. Went to school. Raised my niece. I mean, I had a good life. And then it all, you know, went downhill. You know, as most kids do. They grow up. They get into a in crowd they think it is. You know, I did use drugs in the past.
Right.
I've been clean for 6.5 years now.
Congratulations.
Yeah, thank you. I keep that up every day. You know, I never ever want to go back to that.
Right.
I mean, I can barely afford to keep myself eating, let alone a habit of, no, I couldn't do it.
So you choose to be completely sane.
Absolutely.
Good.
Absolutely.
Very good.
You have to be sane out here.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know,
Agreed.
you look like a zombie out
Agreed.
here. You know,
Agreed.
I'm not deep for that.
Some may say that your lifestyle is a cop-out. What's your response to that?
Wow, a cop-out.
That you're panhandling because you
Don't want to
prefer
work.
not to work.
Right.
Tell me about...
Let me tell you, if I could have a 9 to 5,
Right.
a 3 to 11,
Right.
an 11 to 7, I wouldn't even care what the hours were. I
Right.
would rather be working
Right,
than
right.
sitting out here freezing my behind off
Right. On a daily basis.
for $1 or 2.
Right.
Okay.
Okay.
I'm not making that much money out here. You know what I mean? Like today, I'm freezing. I have $3 in my pocket.
Yeah.
Don't play with me, people.
Right.
This is not a cop out.
Yeah, yeah.
If I had my ID and my identification, if somebody would even help me get
Right. So
I would go get a job.
But what's preventing you from getting it? Like, what is
Money.
the issue?
Money.
Okay.
Money's the root of all evil.
Right.
You know, it costs money to get everything nowadays.
So what actually happened to your IDs? It got stolen.
Stolen.
Okay.
And they told me if I didn't report it to the police, it's not considered stolen.
Okay, so your ID in terms of what? Your
My birth certificate,
license?
my Social Security card, and my license.
Okay.
Yep,
And how long ago was this?
When I first got out here.
Okay, you got out here from where? You mean, are you from another state?
Yeah,
or?
from Jersey.
Oh, right. Okay.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. All right.
It's not a cop-out.
It's not a cop-out.
It's not. I just don't know what else to do. I would rather stay here, and this is degrading enough.
Right.
Than go out and sell my behind, steal from somebody, steal from a store. I'm not beat for all that. You know, this is embarrassing enough.
Yeah. What are the common barriers that you face being homeless? Family issues, living in shelter or not?
Shelters, I wouldn't do a shelter around here. They put them in the worst of neighborhoods. They're not that great. They have rules that, you know, are ridiculous. You know, I stay at a church sometimes, but that's, you know, they don't let you in until 10 o'clock at night. They kick you out at 5 in the morning.
Wow.
So I'd rather just sleep outside.
Wow.
You know, then I can sleep whenever I want to and wake up whenever I want to. I really don't have that many family issues.
Okay.
You know?
Okay.
I used to. I guess it's about 6.5 years ago. You know, I was on drugs and stuff and had family issues, but not now. I mean, my parents are there for me if I need them.
So they're a great support system for you.
Absolutely, if I need them.
Okay.
But I'm old enough, you know, now.
Right, you
like,
can take care of yourself.
Years old.
Right.
I should be able to stand on my own 2 feet instead of calling my mom and dad every 5 minutes for something.
Okay.
You know, I'd rather do this, stand on my own 2 feet.
What can the public do to raise awareness about homelessness? What can the government do to help raise awareness?
Well, first of all, the homeless, the people walking by us homeless can stop.
Right.
Talk to us.
Right.
Find out why we're here.
Okay.
Find out what we need. You know, we are human beings just like everybody else. I bleed just the same as they do.
Sure.
You know what I mean? My heart beats just the same as theirs.
Right.
I'm just out here. And they don't understand that they're maybe one step away from where I am.
Right.
They could be sitting next to me tomorrow. You know? Everybody's fine. You guys can go by. You're fine. They don't understand that they could be in the same position that I'm in. You know, I had everything. I had the house. I had cars. I had the picket fence with the dog in the yard. I had all that stuff.
Right.
I just don't have any kids.
Okay.
You know?
Right.
And yeah, like I lost it.
So now that you lost it, what's it like staying at the church or venue, wherever it is that you go? What is a night like? What is a night like? A night at the church or
75 people.
Right.
In one room.
Okay.
Laying on the floor. You don't have a blanket, you're screwed.
So you guys are all huddled together.
Right.
Okay.
I mean, they give you something hot to eat when you first get there.
Right.
You know, and then lights are out at 12, and then they're waking you up at 5.
Okay.
So sometimes it's all right, you know, because you're inside and it's warm, but then you got 75 attitudes.
Right.
75
that you have to deal with. Right.
And some people aren't mentally there.
Right. Understood. But now you have your personal belongings. How do you keep track of your personal belongings?
Well,
and what do you...
we try to sleep up against the wall on a corner, and we put all of our belongings on one side of us, and sleep kind of with our backs to them, so nobody touches them.
Right. Wow.
Phones, money, anything we have, we keep in our pockets.
Okay.
You know, so we don't take them out of our pockets. Definitely not take them out of our pockets.
Some may say you're homeless and you have a phone.
Yes,
How's
ma'am.
that possible?
Actually, a really good friend of mine bought the phone for me, actually as a Christmas present.
Okay.
And he pays the bill for me every month.
Okay.
That way I had, you know, communication with my family, my friends.
Sure.
In case an emergency happened out here, I needed to call police, ambulance, anything, you know. It's good to have communication out here.
Absolutely.
Because it's hard sometimes to find a payphone because they are non-existent.
Right.
Then if you would walk into a business or something, try to use their phone, they look at you all weird.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like some businesses, they've shown homeless people.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They think you're in there just to cause problems.
Right.
You know what I mean? Anything. You know? So it's good to have a phone. It really is. I mean, some people walk by here and they see me on it and they're like, oh, she's homeless. She ain't homeless. She got a phone. Like, look, dude, I'm homeless. You see me here every day. There's ain't no front. I wouldn't sit out here and freeze my buns off for nothing.
Well, I want to thank you for the time that you've given me.
Anytime.
Again, I truly want to try to help as much as I possibly can.
And you do.
Thank you.
I appreciate the coffee. I appreciate the donuts, the sandwiches, the love. Just the stopping and kneeling down and saying hi to me. How are you today?
Eyes view, right? Eyes view.
Absolutely.
You know?
Yeah.
That's what I'm about.
I know, it's respect.
Yeah, absolutely. It's important. It's important to me. So back in August,
Yes, ma'am.
that's when we initially met.
Yes, ma'am.
Right? How did that happen?
You walked by.
Yeah, I walked
and
by.
you decided to stop and talk to me.
Yeah.
And I believe that's what more people need to do.
Right.
Just to find out why I'm here.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
yes, I sit here every day, and I know some of these people are really tired of seeing me. And they're like, this girl ain't never gonna leave. She's here every day.
Right.
She's here when I go to work. She's here when I come home from work. She's here all the time.
But it's survival. It's survival.
It is. I don't know what else to do.
Yeah.
I really don't. I wish somebody would hire me. I'm a good worker. I am. I work hard. You know what I mean? I'm a survivor. I really am.
What are the fees associated with getting your social security number?
Well, I know that.
What is that?
The birth certificate is from Jersey. And it costs like $12.
Okay.
So I got to get that first. Once I get that, I go to the Social Security office. They'll print me out a paper.
Right.
So then I take the birth certificate and the Social Security number card or print out.
Okay.
To the DMV.
Okay.
Then they'll give me my ID, which costs $29.50.
Okay.
Because it's a driver's license.
Right.
I still have my license. And then I take all that back to Social Security, and then they'll give me the Social Security card.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So at any time, if someone were willing to donate or assist you with that process,
yes,
how receptive will you be?
Very.
Okay.
Very receptive. I'm receptive to anything anyone has.
And I know that.
Absolutely.
I know that.
I don't care if I have a whole pile of food sitting here. If you're bringing me food, I'm still going to take it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I mean, I'm not a glutton and I'm not going to overtake. You know what I mean? I would rather them give it to someone else who might need it. And I tell them that all the time. Look, if I just ate, I'm not going to make you spend your money on me. Buying me something to eat.
Okay.
You understand? I would rather let them go to the next one and help the next one.
Okay.
You know, I even help people out here. You know, if you came up to me right now and you needed $1 to get on the train, I've had it done. Right. I've had complete strangers.
Okay.
Oh my God, I'm stuck here. Can you help me with $1 to get on the train?
Right.
Sure, there you go.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Is there anything that you
help
could
me? I'll help them.
Okay. Now, speaking of which,
I get my blessing.
Speaking of which, exactly.
Yes.
Speaking of which, what can you say to your peers, you know, that are experiencing homelessness as well? What can you offer? What advice can you offer them?
Just stay strong.
Okay.
Have faith. Try to find your higher power.
Right.
Really. Because let me tell you something. My higher power is the only thing that's really got me through this. I'm telling you. Because if I didn't have my God in my life, like I was saved a couple years ago.
Right.
If I didn't have my God in my life, I would be out there selling my
Right.
I would be out there doing drugs again. I would be out there living a life that I don't ever want to live again. You know what I mean? Being homeless is bad enough.
Right.
Okay? But then to put all that other stuff on top of it, it makes it even worse.
Sure.
You know?
Sure.
Say the heroin addicts out here. I feel so bad for them. You know what I mean? Because I know that they're out here and they're homeless. That's enough. But then to put all that on top of it and be sick every day, and then it's terrible. Right. You know what I mean? Like, I feel so bad for them. Yeah. You know, but there's nothing I can do because they have to want it for themselves.
Absolutely. That's right. Absolutely.
And another thing, like, give back. Don't just take.
Right.
Don't just take. Right. Because if you just take and take and take and take and take and take and take,
it's taxing. It's taxing.
And nobody's gonna want to help you. You know what I mean? Like, you have to give back in order to get your
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Because that's how I get mine.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Oh, you're welcome.
I appreciate you.
Anytime.
I appreciate
If I can help you bring awareness to this homelessness and help people, I will do anything. Anything at all.
We'll stay in touch.
Absolutely.
All right.
Cut.
Thank you, Karen. Thank you. So last up, we have Bruce Blake, a formerly homeless resident who is an active participant in the ProAct Recovery organization where he's made great strides. Bruce also facilitates a recovery group called Coffee and Conversation, where persons in recovery can connect to and support each other's resilience. Bruce will soon complete his training for a peer leadership program. He hopes to become a certified peer specialist to share his story with others and provide them with support to find their way out of homelessness and addiction. So Bruce, if you want to come on up.
Thank you. I would like to first thank God. I would like to thank Philly Cam and RHD for giving me this honor to be here to share an event with you that's coming up December 21st, and also a little bit about myself. Again, my name is Bruce Blake, and homelessness is very seriously. I was that guy on the train. I was that guy on the soup line. I was that guy in that shelter bed. I was that guy standing out in the cold. Yes, I was that guy. Unfortunately, well, not unfortunately, but I decided to just make a change. I decided to get myself together. My shelter history actually dates back to 1989. I became homeless at a very young age, and that was due to drug addiction. You know, many people are homeless for various reasons. It's not just addiction. You know, it can be loss of home, job, whatever. You know, but unfortunately mine stemmed from drug addiction. And it was very hard for me out there. You know, my family, you know, they put me out, but they had every right to. I wasn't mad at them, you know. But today I stand in front of you, a person who overcame homelessness. It was very hard work. Thank you. It was very hard work. It wasn't easy. It took commitment. It took getting up, doing some work, humbling myself, going to people and asking for help. And that's what I did. I got tired of being cold. I got tired of sleeping on the train. I got tired of standing in the soup line. And I wanted to live. Today, I'm a member of ProAct. I facilitate groups at 1701 in Lehigh. And I have some people to thank: George Thomas, Irvin Warfield, Miss Erica Ward, Stop and Surrender drug program, also Wayne Ministry Recovery House. I'd like to also thank Elizabeth Gallagher, who is my RHD case manager, and John Carlson, who is the coordinator of ProAct Recovery Organization. Those people played a big key in me being here today. They helped me get my life together. They opened their doors. They gave me a chance to live again. And I accepted that. And I made great progress in doing that. And I love my homeless people. I'll never forget where I came from. And I'm here to encourage my homeless brothers and sisters that it does work. And you don't have to be homeless. You just got to put in that footwork. And I thank God because, you know, I'm on a fixed income, so I was able to utilize the money appropriately and do what I needed to do. Now I have a roof over my head. I can go in the kitchen and cook that meal, you know, and it feels great. And I want all to God and to all those people that I mentioned that helped me. And with that, I would like to just mention an event that's coming up as we remember our brothers and sisters who we lost due to homelessness. Some of them didn't make it back. Some of them couldn't get out of being homelessness. But they're the same. They're people just like us. You know? This event will be held Thursday, December 21st. It's called the 2017 Homeless Memorial Day, and it's from 5 to 6 p.m. It will be held at the Thomas Paine Plaza Municipal Services Building, located at 1401 JFK Boulevard in the city of Philadelphia. I'm going to ask that you guys come on out and support us and join us. as we remember those who we have lost in homelessness. Thank you.
Thank you, Bruce. Thanks for sharing your story. So we have a little bit of time left to take some comments from the audience. And I see a person right there. So hold on. Just give your name and go.
My name is Sherry Honkala, and I'm one of the founders of the Kensington Welfare Rights Union and started the Poor People's Economic Human Rights Campaign. And I just want to take advantage of this opportunity to say that I have mothers with children right now that I can't get into shelter in the city of Philadelphia. One family was just living with me. Her name is Stephanie. She's got 6 kids, and I'm trying to raise another $400 in order to get her into a house for the holidays. And I hope that people would go online, look it up, and help me get her into housing. And I just want to say, I think this is wonderful. I'm a formerly homeless mother, and if people want to join the fight to end homelessness in Philadelphia, we want to encourage you to get involved with us, because every single day in the city, families are denied shelter. It's not just because they come across bad luck. And I can introduce you to some families that you can help me get into some kind of housing. Thanks.
Sure. Okay, anybody else? Final comments, questions? No? Okay. Oh, you back there, sir?
Okay.
Yes. There you go.
If it's okay with you, I'd like to share a poem that I had written for an anthology that was called Homeless But Not Helpless.
Yep,
and it's KT was the poet who was in charge of it. So if you don't mind, I'd like to share that.
Sure, 5 minutes. Yep.
Actually, under 5 minutes.
Go for it.
He is homeless because he failed math. He couldn't figure out how to divide one paycheck into 4 hungry children. He could only add to his mounting bills. He could only subtract opportunities. He should have studied how to multiply his options. She is homeless because she failed English. She is a pronoun. It is used instead of a noun. Nouns are places, people, things, ideas. She has no place. People have abandoned her, and the thing is food, but she has no idea from where. Children are homeless because sons and daughters failed biology, not knowing a zygote from ain't got, snuggling beneath their father's musty armpits. He perspires worries about his children, slumbering under his shoulder, comforted by the stench, knowing that daddy didn't abandon them. They are homeless because they failed political science. So hard to trace boundaries and remember political parties when you're not at the festivities. Franklin's New Deal does not have the urgency of the Raw Deal. They have been dealt, cards pulled from the bottom of the deck. But homeless is not hopeless. They have failed political science, biology, English, math, but has society failed humanity? Thank you.
Thank you very much for sharing. And it looks like we have a little bit more time left, so a gentleman's going to come up here and talk to you about PROACT.
Thank you. My name is Jeff Dassler. PROACT came from Bucks County in 2005. I'm one of the original volunteer interns that helped PROACT start here in Philly. It offers a variety of groups. We're looking for people to come, even if you have a loved one that has a drug problem.
Ram is going to read another poem.
You know what I'm saying? Because in order for this thing to come together, we all have to work together. We offer from group facilitating to GED, anything that you think your loved one need, we help you get into a program. If, you know what I'm saying? We help with housing. We try to make everybody's life a whole lot better, you know? Like they say, it takes a village to raise a child. Well, the village is right here at home. You know what I'm saying? We can spend a lot of money for things across the water, but we can't spend money for right here to take care of our own. So I'm just asking people just to come out. Even if you just come and spend 5 minutes just to see what the center is about. That's why I place these on your seats, all right? Thank you for allowing me to share.
Thank you very much for sharing that resource. So to close us out, we're going to have Ram come up again and give us another poem.
So one thing I left out is I'm also a hip-hop artist. I'm an MC, so I'll actually just share a 16 verse from a song I got titled Shine. And when I wrote this verse about 5 to 6 years ago, it was with the intentions of sharing with people in general, but especially young people that, you know, as long as you take these steps that's in this 16 verse, I mean, you know, you can be successful and you can help yourself get out of any situation. So it's the second verse from my song titled Shine. And my full artist name is Ram Riches, Riches, R-I-C-H-E-S, R-A-M-R-I-C-H-E-S. You can look me up. And I'ma shine like the sun every day, give the people what they need, deliver that good energy. No weapon formed against me should prosper. I'm a spiritual warrior, fighting for those who feel the world don't care for them. Grab my hand, jump on my back, I'm here for you. Go ahead, shed a tear. Know that I care for you because I've been there. But I release the pain by looking in the mirror. Time for you to do the same so you can take flight with me, get high with me. And when they take shots, pay them no mind with me. Stay on your journey, stay on your path. Give it everything you got, give it everything you have. Dreams come true if you stick to the script. Invest in yourself, work hard to the end. Live your life with a purpose, let your vision be free. Shining forever now, you living in your dreams. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much, Ram. So we have to wrap up now, but before we do, I just wanted to let everyone know that Krisann did bring some copies of her books with her, Homeless, so if you're interested, please talk to her at the end of the show. And also, I just want to say thanks for the opportunity to do this, and it was an amazing show. Everyone was very incredible and moving. And please come out to the Homeless Memorial event. It's a very emotional event, but it's a meaningful one. It's important. So I hope to see you all there, and thank you for coming tonight.